I'd like to have an acknowledgement of the land that we're all joining from, and I think it adds more meaning if we research further into the place where we are as part of that acknowledgement. So I'm sharing a few books as a fellow library person. Some things that I have enjoyed reading are An Indigenous People's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz and Matika Wilbur's Project 562. It's more of a photo essay, whereas the Ortiz book is a big overview of the history of the United States land area. And then for my particular area, I'm here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I have read and the book Bear River Massacre, Shoshone History by Darren Perry. So I encourage people to look up books in the area where you are or check out some of these for an overview and to become better informed about the people who were pushed off of these lands in violent ways and also the people who are still here contributing. As far as our intent today, we'd like to situate the current war that's going on, the attacks on Iran, in the larger historical arc, and to be able to recognize Indigenous histories, intellectual traditions, and the cultural things that are part of the story of the country of Iran. I'd like to thank the International Responsibilities Task Force and the Social Responsibilities Roundtable for co-sponsoring this through the American Library Association, and welcome our panelists. We have Frida Afari with us, an Iranian-American public librarian in Los Angeles. She has been a student of philosophy and written about socialist feminism. Welcome to Lily Alavi, an Iranian-American scholar of Persian literature and language. She's an instructor at the University of Utah in the Department of World Languages and Cultures. And we welcome Amir Soltani, an Iranian-American writer, human rights activist, and filmmaker. He's been a student of history, international relations, global citizenship, and is the author of Zara's Paradise. I'd also like to thank April, Derek, and Kim, who have been helping on the tech end and with getting word out about the seminar so that people could attend today. Thanks so much. Part of the stated mission of these organizations, the Roundtable, the Task Force, and the greater ALA, include some of these statements. We work for the common good. We support an informed public. We defend the conditions necessary for peace and truth-seeking and international solidarity. And we support access to diverse, independent, and international sources of information. There is always a null curriculum in any education. And there are things that we don't learn in school that limit our understanding of global history and focus oftentimes on nationalistic perspectives. So in the interest of providing information on the country of Iran, we'll be taking the approach of discussing not just the war and the political history, but the fuller picture of the beautiful landscape, the rich cultural traditions, and the people who live in Iran. So thank you very much to our panelists. Today has turned out to be a much more difficult point in time than when we started planning this. Putting people who have been harmed on the spot by asking them to explain the situation is not ideal. And I hope that the training of several hundred librarians to take on the information sharing task is a worthy endeavor today. We can each further educate ourselves and others with what we learn, and there'll be a resource list shared at the end of books and movies, and including book club selections. Naturally, there's not just one opinion on any subject, so our guests are speaking today from their own experiences and not for any entire group of people. I just wanted to share this picture of a map of Iran. I think in particular, it helps explain why people in the news are often saying that what happens in Iran can unsettle the region. If you note that there are 13 different borders, international borders, when you count land and maritime borders. And also, just for those of us, including myself, who have not visited Iran, a few pictures to illustrate that there are metropolitan cities surrounded by snow-capped mountains, the photo at the top of Tehran. There are desert areas and ancient buildings still intact, and then the beautiful coastline areas. Also, the bottom picture, if you've ever had the pleasure of eating Persian cuisine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And the picture to illustrate a bit of the artwork of Iran, and this one happens to be a book cover of a well-known text called Conference of the Birds.
Nice.
If you'd like to scan this, this will give you the resource list, and I'll come back to it at the end, and I'll also drop it in the chat later. But I'm going to stop the slides for now so that we can move on to the discussion with our panelists that we've been looking forward to. All right. I'd like to begin by asking each of our panelists if you would please describe for us the appearance of the country of Iran. What does it look like? What do residents love about the physical country, the climate? I'd like to start with you, Amir, because your book Zara's Paradise begins with a section on the notorious Evin prison and is a really stark and in many ways painful story, but you begin by describing the countryside and the lushness of it and the waterfalls. I wanted to ask, why was describing the beauty important to you right from the beginning? And then, as a parallel, if you'd each comment on how describing the setting kind of helps us as we begin telling the story of Iran. So, Amir.
Thank you so much, dear Dr. Parkinson. It's a pleasure to be with you and the librarians, world of librarians, whirlwind of librarians. When Zara's Paradise came out, it was the librarians who breathed life into it. So I'm very cognizant of where books and culture fit into our conversation. I mean, I grew up in Iran, in Tehran, at the foothills of the Alborz Mountains, which is what people often see when they see pictures of Tehran. And my school was in the Evin Valley, and that valley was defined by this magnificent river that flowed down through it. And so when I think of Iran, whether it's that valley or the garden outside Tehran where we grew up, it was always water that defined that Iran for me, and and uh, and along with that uh, sensibility that always, I think, links Iranians to a vision of life. That is to say, water, garden, paradise, and I think that's what makes the conversation today so painful, and not just today, for some years now, because I think as Iranians, in my case as an Iranian American, we've been seeing that paradise on fire. And obviously, when you're seeing your ancestral homeland bombed, and you see it constantly on Fox News as a series of targets on which we drop bombs, it's a reminder, for me anyway, of the sanctity of landscape, of the sanctity of environment, not as something that is lifeless, but as something that is paradise itself. And so I hope that, you know, the other side of the garden, of course, is light, and the other aspect of the garden is life, and the other dimension of it is nurturing, cultivating, sharing, laughing, safety, security, all that an environment. And I so somehow feel that the word environment doesn't quite catch it. It's more than that. It's a kind of entire ecology of life. And that also is for me Iran, because it touches on the unity of life. I don't think of Iran as a map. I don't think of it as a territory. I think of it as a civilizational constellation, if you will, of light and connectivity between that which has been and that which will come, and that which is also here in America. And the woman life freedom movement, again, look at those three words, one next to each other. And of course, you can't think of an environment without thinking of the mother. Here she is. and the mother as the source of life, and as the guardian of life. So that's how I experience Iran, and I'm really honored to be able to share that feeling with Dr. Afari and Mrs. Alavi, my dear darling friends here. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Lily and Frida, would either of you like to add your descriptions?
Lily first.
Thank you, Frida. Well, first of all, thank you very much for having me here, Dr. Parkinson. Thank you so much for your invitation and for all of you to come here and to participate in this panel. As Amir said, that Iran for him is a paradise. It reminds me of what Ferdowsi, our famous poet, said, that Iran is like a flower garden. And each one of them has its own, I would say, a flavor and an odor. For me, growing up in the foothill of Alborz, in addition to water and flower, I think my back is always to the mountain.
Mhm.
And I get that support and that persistence and that
Mhm.
resistance
That's
from the mountain. So
right.
that is what I always get from the Alborz Mountain. And whenever we used to travel as kids, we would go to Caspian Sea and we would bypass the Damavand Mountain. That would what it gives me, that this is the motherland. And it will always be the motherland. And as Amir said, perhaps it's not a map. It may be the culture that shares this years of civilization of all of us together. I have recently been very lucky to have traveled to Uzbekistan a couple of times. And when I go to Samarkand and Bukhara, I want to adopt everybody and bring them home because I feel of that shared language, culture, and that again, I don't know, mountains for me, it's very, very powerful.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Frida?
you, Frida.
Thank you. So when I think of Iran, I think of diversity of peoples and landscapes. Peoples, not only Persians, but Kurds, Arabs, Baluch, Turkmen, Azeris. Landscape, we have the mountainous region, we have desert, we have the area by the Caspian Sea where people used to go for vacations and still do. The south, the Persian Gulf or the Gulf region, don't even have to call it Persian. And so that variety, and also the countries that it neighbors, Iraq and Turkey, on the west, on the east, we have Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan. On the north, we have Armenia and Azerbaijan. South, the Gulf nations. So a lot of variety, unlike the US, or in contrast to the US that has two oceans on one side and the other. And then on top, we have Canada. Below, we have Latin America. So there is some variety, but there's a lot more variety of exposure in the Iranian landscape and geography.
That's so helpful, all of those things. Thanks to each of you. We focused mostly on physical descriptions, and I would like to add in a few more sensory descriptions. So if each of you would just take a minute or so and try and think of the tastes and the smells and the sounds and the tactile pleasures that you think of when you think of Iran. Just any of you jump right in and share, like, what are your connections, those sensory memories? They could be related to holidays or to seasons or to places that you consider home. Frida, do you want to go since the
I mean, I would say the herbs. Iranian food uses a lot of herbs. So I'm used to, at home, we used to clean herbs before cutting them and putting them in food. So the smell of parsley and mint and tarragon and savory and the fresh fruit. It used to be a regular part of the Iranian diet. Now the country is so poor, people can't afford fresh fruit for the most part. So that's some of what I think.
Oh, that's very evocative. Thank you. Anything else, Lily, Amir?
Uh, as Friedrich said, I mean, food, fruits. I also say that people in your house. Our home was like a Paddington station. People would come and go all the time. And my grandmother's house was, an open door for everybody to come. So that coming and going, that noise of people, that sometimes it may be annoying, but at the same time, it's very welcoming. It brings me home. Another thing, when I moved to United States, 30 odd years ago, well, there was traffic in Iran and there is pollution. And that also reminded me of Tehran. Whenever I had these buses going through and I would have a deep breath and I'm like, Tehran, I loved it. I still do. I mean, it brings me back home and it may not exist anymore, but it just brought me at that chaos, and
Family
it was a
connection.
family chaos, but also, other smells.
Oh, thank you.
I mean,
Anything to add, Amir?
Well, I mean, I'm here with my mom, and so all the aromas and beauty of Iran is in alive in her cooking and in Lily's cooking. Lily's my cousin, so but for me, I think the what comes to my mind is mulberries. I mean, always mulberries because um, we'd go to this garden in Sohanak where we had mulberry trees that were centuries old. I mean, really extraordinary, formidable trees. And they would shake the tree and it would rain not bombs, but mulberries. So I think of mulberries when I think of, like the first thing that came to my mind when you asked that question, Polly, was mulberries.
Oh, great.
Literally.
Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about the term Persian. I think that many people who are not from the area wonder if it has multiple meanings. Is it a language? Is it a geographical area? Is it a time period in history? Lily, would you begin since you are a professor of Persian language?
uh, a lowly instructor, but thank you for the promotion. Uh, uh, I personally will call myself I'm Iranian. I'm
Okay.
ethnically Persian. Iran is a land of different ethnicities. Persian, as Frida mentioned, Persian, Kurds, Baluchis, Arabs, Lurs. Um, we all gather together under this umbrella that is called Iran. Um, I would say the foreigners would call us Persia, and in Iran, we always called ourselves Iranian. And I think Iran is more inclusive
Ah.
because if I have a fellow Iranian who's originally from Azerbaijan and calls themselves, Azeri or Turk, why would I impose upon them to say that they're Persian?
Mm.
To me, Iran, we are all children of Iran, and Iran is more inclusive. So I would say that Persian is my language, and
Mhm.
because we are the land of different ethnicity and different languages, we need also a language that we can all connect with each other. So, and that is Persian. It could have easily been Lori. It just
Mm.
happened to be Persian. And that's the language we connect with each other. It's our official language.
Mhm.
Ethnically speaking, again, I'm Persian. So if I say I'm Persian, that's okay. But as a person that comes from a nation, a country, I would call myself Iranian.
Okay, that's very
Um,
helpful. Thank you.
and I completely also understand that the term Persian is a bit innocuous. So you would associate it with Persian caviar, Persian dynasty, all, Persian empires. But with Iran always comes Iranian fundamentalism, Iranian hostage crisis. So Iran has been associated with things that are a bit difficult whereas Persia is this innocuous person, like a Persian cat, nobody knows where it is. So I can kind of understand why people who were definitely before me in United States and didn't want to stand out kept saying that they are Persian. As an Iranian, I would want to say that I am Iranian, and I would hope that I feel safe enough to continue to say that I'm Iranian.
Thank you so much. I'd like to ask a little bit about what are some of the important cultural traditions. Could any of you comment a bit on the literature, the mythology, the arts? What are some of the aesthetic artifacts that people in Iran are proud of and would think are representative of the country? I'd love to hear from any of you that would like to comment.
I would defer to Lily on that
Okay.
to start.
I teach 3 levels of Persian. Persian beginner, intermediate, and advanced. My students from day one, they get used to learn about Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, Ferdowsi. For me, and I also say that I am a practicing Muslim. So I identify myself first as a woman, then as an Iranian, and third as a Muslim, my religion. But so they will hear about different aspects of my life because these students, most of them are with me for 3 years. But they would definitely know about our traditions, including the Shab Chelde, Shab Yalda, which is the winter solstice. We stay up all night until the crimson comes out, which is we help the angel of light in their battle against the angel of darkness. So until the crimson comes out, and we have red fruit. So the symbolism of red is because of that, and I'm sure that Frida can help me with this. But anyway, so my students know about the tradition, definitely of the Yalda tradition, and our most important one, which comes next week, is our New Year, Persian New Year, or Iranian New Year. It's which falls on the spring solstice. So this year, Utah time, it would be on Friday at about 8:40 a.m. And then most of the time, the students come to my house to share the traditional food of rice with herbs and fish with us. So for me, those traditions are important to not just to our children and the generations that they're after us, but also to those who we come upon, and we want to part our traditions with them. So I do that, and then they always see the poetry and rugs, Persian artifacts. I mean, definitely Persian rugs, I think. Everybody sees that. You have seen me, Polly keeps telling me, Louis, don't go on my uncle's rug.
This is what Lily is talking about.
So that's Louis, and that's my uncle's Persian rug, and I keep saying, don't go on it.
And as you can see, Louis is respecting the boundaries there.
I do appreciate it. So that is the things that we do. Definitely poetry is part of our everyday life.
Oh, thank you for sharing all those things. That's just wonderful. Let's discuss the history of human rights in Iran. How has it been influenced by religion? I understand that Iran is the birthplace of Baha'i and that there are also Jewish and Christian and Sunni minorities and the Shia majority. But also, what are just the important moments in history of freedom and civil liberty? Frida, considering that your work on feminism, would you start us off on a discussion a bit about human rights?
Well, I mean, Qurratul Ain was a Baha'i or Babi precursor, Baha'i woman leader. She was the first to publicly unveil in mid 1800s, and she was assassinated. She was killed for her bravery and for challenging traditional rules about how women should behave. And she was a thinker and a writer, And I think that definitely when we speak of human rights violations in Iran, we should speak about Baha'is, who are a religious minority, an offshoot of Islam, who have been persecuted by the Islamic Republic. They don't have citizenship rights. And then, of course, we have the political prisoners. At the moment, we have political prisoners who are in the Evin prison, who are facing both bombs from the sky and also the authoritarian regime that has murdered political prisoners in its 47-year history. Political prisoners have a longer history, of course, under the rule of Muhammad Reza Pahlavi, who was the Shah of Iran from 1941 to 79, when there was a revolution and monarchy was overthrown. And prior to that, his father, Reza Pahlavi, was king from early 1920s to 1941. So throughout the 20th century, we've had either monarchy, the authoritarianism of monarchy that has had its own secret police and political prisoners and repression of speech and civil rights, lack of civil rights. And then we had the revolution, a brief period of some freedoms to be quickly taken over by the Islamic Republic, which imposes a religious fundamentalist form of authoritarianism that was very misogynistic and even more repressive toward both Iran's religious minorities and especially the Baha'is, and also the national minorities, the Kurds, the Baluch, the Arabs, especially the Kurds, Arabs, and Baluch and Turkmen, to some extent the Azeris. That's what I think of. When I think of human rights in Iran, I think of the suppression of the rights of the Baha'is, suppression of the rights of women, anti-woman laws, misogynistic regime. I think of political prisoners. And I think Amira and Lily can say more about that.
Yes, please join in.
Amir.
So, there's a line in Hafiz, which is sort of my kind of like the pivot around which a lot of my thinking turns around, and which I kind of feel that says a great deal about Iran, which is it's the Persian of it is درخت دوستی بنشان که کام دل ببار نهال دشمنی برکن که درد بیشمار آرد, which roughly translates into plant the tree of friendship for it brings boundless joy, uproot the saplings of enmity for it brings countless or boundless pain. I think there is for me, when I think of human rights in Iran, it's not a Western thing. It's something that's deeply embedded in the Iranian, Sufi, Islamic, religious sense of the unity of life, which we get from all the Abrahamic traditions, and which finds its sort of highest form of celebration in not necessarily in legal form, but in poetic form, which in turn to me is much more is very deeply ingrained in the Persian soul and psyche. You don't have to have a legal education in human rights or a particular relationship to the state to have this oral tradition transmitted to you. Which is why I think that despite all the pain that the Iranian people have been subjected to, whether by foreign powers or local leaders or whoever, there is the mountain that Lily was speaking about being behind her, to me is not just a physical reality, but a spiritual force. And I feel that that's why Iran uh, can and has endured all kinds of affliction, whether in terms of civilizational wars, which is what we're seeing now, or despotisms and so on. So I kind of feel that Iran's Iran's traditions, Iran's cultural traditions, faith traditions, and so on, have obviously generated abominations like Khomeini, but they've also produced Rumi, and they've also produced Hafez. And that tradition is obviously global, cosmic, universal, spiritual. It's deeply rooted in the family, in family networks and friendships. And that's where I derive an enormous amount of strength and faith and joy from. And that's what's really made me a human rights activist. It's not because I'm sort of attached to a particular article of the UN that, some that was, you know, promoted and became law in the 1940s. No, it's because there is something that pulses through Iranian civilization, culture, our Jewish tradition, all the way our Baha'i tradition, Zoroastrian tradition, Islamic tradition. If we search for it, it's there, and for me, it's a source of enormous strength.
Thank you. Lily, would you
And
like to?
I just wanted to add also that we take pride in the fact that the first written declaration of human rights is in fact on Cyrus Cylinder, 2,500 years ago, who declared the freedom of religion, and people can go where they want to. So it's actually make it a bit more heartbreaking, not a bit, a lot more heartbreaking when the Baha'is are not treated as they should be, equal citizens of Iran, where, from a country where these, laws have passed, and we take pride of Cyrus the Great and what he has accomplished.
Thank you so much. People outside of Iran have likely heard of the country's oil supply. Could you please help us understand that factor in the domestic economy and the historical significance, the international implications? Amir, I know that you've researched this topic. Could you discuss a bit about Iran and oil?
Poof. So Iran has oil was discovered in Iran in the early 20th century, and sort of started being really used in a significant way when the British Navy switched from coal to oil, which was before the First World War. And so there you have it. There is a direct link between oil and empire, and oil and global power. And consequently, and ever since, oil has been and remains a civilizational battleground, whether it was, and obviously a fundamental um, aspect of war, because you obviously can't move your warships and tanks and things without oil. And so the control of oil has meant, and even now, today, in the current war, um, it's, the nuclear issue was resolved in many ways when the US and Israel bombed what was Iran's nuclear installations, and President Trump said it was obliterated. So we went into a war after the pretext for that war had been removed in the 12-day war that preceded. And the actual reason for it is the battle, if you will, between the US, China, and also obviously Russia and Europe uh, for the control of oil. Oil, in turn, is the key to thousands of other things, from fertilizers to plastics and so on. So shifts in the price of oil also have a devastating impact on countries in the global south, where the price of food, I mean, obviously we see it here in the US as well, but there, when you have the price of oil move up, you also have the price of fertilizer go up, which means that the price of food instantly goes up. As we see now, that the flow of oil in turn gives strategic significance to particular waterways, like the Straits of Hormuz, the Suez Canal, and so forth. And what's been interesting about the current situation with the Straits of Hormuz is that our war with Iran has redounded to the benefit of Russia, because Russian oil obviously doesn't move through the Straits of Hormuz. And so it's interesting to see how this game, and Europe, of course, doesn't have much in terms of its own oil supplies. The United States does. So we're also part, once again, of a very complex global civilizational battle for ascendancy, hegemony, and the control of oil. And sadly, this has drawn Iran time and time again into conflicts that have been very brutal and very expensive for Iran. Iran was paid a very heavy price for the First World War. It paid a very heavy price for the Second World War. We saw Iran occupied by the British and the Americans. In the 50s, the country became a battleground again between the West and the Soviet Union, again over access to the Persian Gulf. And now the question is, how will is this conflict a precursor to a much larger global conflict or not?
Thank you. I know that was just an enormous question, and that's been a wonderful overview. Thanks very much. Frida and Lily, would either of you like to add anything to the discussion about oil in Iran?
Just that I wanted to stress what Amir already said, that this war on Iran that has led to the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz, where 25% of the world's oil supply passes through, and 50% of East Asia's oil supply. It has actually led to a strengthening of Russia, because now sanctions are being removed on Russia, sanctions on Russian oil, which means that Russia is going to become stronger in its war on the innocent people of Ukraine. So that is a really important issue. And also that we're seeing both Iran attacking now UAE's oil facilities, and Israel has been attacking Iran's oil depots, which has also led to pollution, rain, acid rain, or rain with oil in it falling on people's heads and creating all kinds of health issues and breathing problems for the people of the region. So the ramifications are they're not economic only. They have environmental, human rights, and can definitely lead to an expanding global war.
Thank you. That's extremely helpful. Thanks so much. I would just like to take a minute to mention, if anyone missed our introduction, we're planning on continuing the panel discussion with the questions that I've prepared until the top of the hour, and then we'll switch to taking questions from the chat for the remaining 30 minutes. So I have just a couple more questions. Lily, would you please tell us about your community engagement work as a professor and what it has taught you about connecting students with diverse communities and fostering mutual understanding? I feel like that's always it should be part of the conversation.
So that class is taught in English and is open to oral languages in our department. The class, in addition to the subject that we talk about in the class, we also connect with different partners in the community, including, so our students, based on the language they know, they have to perform a service. So they can go to, let's say, University of Utah Law School and translate for a Russian family, a Hispanic family, or an Iranian family based on the language they know. And what I would tell you that actually, as a personal experience, the fact of the matter, with all due respect to Los Angeles, which I think that it's every Iranian's second home, in a sense, I'm very happy that when I moved to United States, I moved to Maine, very far
That's
removed
really
from
interesting.
our Iranian community. But it also taught me what I learned about America and the essence of volunteering. So because I didn't know anybody, I wanted to make friends. I kind of had to start from somewhere, and I started volunteering. And I learned that, and I really appreciate it. I appreciated how to organize things because as an Iranian, we are all wonderful people, but maybe I'm generalizing. Maybe we may not be very organized. So I learned some community organizing in that way, and we have worked with different communities, not just Persian speakers, but my students, for example, have created this pro bono physical therapy clinic for people who are mostly skewed toward Hispanic, but people who don't have otherwise health insurance or access to language, somebody who can interpret for them. We have students who have created yoga classes for undocumented immigrants. So, and from there, we have learned also to help with our Afghan community here, who, in particular, when they came most recently with U.S. withdrawal. So it has been more open. It wasn't just to Afghan community or Persian-speaking community, but it has been to other languages, and I want to say that it has been very successful.
Oh,
I'm very
that's
happy about
so
that
many
class.
interesting examples. Thank you.
Yes, and the young people that they come up with these different, ideas that I never thought about them, and being with the younger people, it always makes you hopeful.
Thank you. Frida and Amir, do you have any comments on these sorts of things that bring people together across cultures, across backgrounds, and across personal experiences, especially in times of conflict like now?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think in the US, I've been involved with various mutual aid efforts, especially now with the assault on immigrants. And I'm really amazed by how people come together and find ways of helping vulnerable communities who are being assaulted by ICE, and families that are being separated or broken up, and defending innocent people who are being detained. So I am learning a lot from that. Did you want me to say anything about that inside Iran, or my experiences in the US? I wasn't sure about the question.
Yes, I'm happy to have anything that you would like to say. And I am sort of thinking of the people participating today, maybe thinking, I hear people say, what can we do? How can we make a difference? Some people feel a bit dismal about current conditions. So I'm interested in any ideas that you have.
I mean, I think the most important thing we can do right now is to call on the Trump administration to end this war on Iran, because although Iran is an authoritarian, religious fundamentalist, and misogynist regime that has been killing its own people, this war is not going to help the Iranian people. Bombing them from the sky when they're being massacred by this regime on the ground is not going to help bring about progress in Iran. It's just going to kill more people, more innocent people, destroy the environment, create a regional and possibly global war, and affect us in the US in horrible ways. For instance, there could be a terrorist attack in the US. There's, cracking down on civil liberties in the name of security, for unneeded war, and all kinds of possible ramifications that will destroy whatever we have left of democracy in the U.S. So the main thing is to do whatever you can to speak to your representatives about ending this war.
All right. Thank you, Frida. Amir, would you like to add anything?
Well, I think we have when Lily was speaking about um, light and darkness. I think this notion that darkness exists just in Iran and we in America are light, or light just exists in Iran and Israel is darkness, or light just exists in Israel and Iran is darkness. This kind of Manichaeanism has gotten us into a nightmare, because it blinds us to or that light exists in Iran and darkness is in the Arab world, or vice versa. I mean, I think this Manichaean way of looking at the world is driving us into a kind of apocalyptic nightmare where we're not seeing each other's humanity. I mean, to build on what Frida was saying about the ecological dimensions of the war, my friend Nikahan Kosar wrote a beautiful piece in Foreign Policy about the attacks on desalination plants, or how the attacks on fuel depots are affecting hospitals. So this frame of mind that is geostrategic is actually a remnant of 18th century European stupidity, if you ask me. And to think of Iran, America, Israel, any part of the world in geostrategic terms as opposed to human terms, I think is a huge mistake. And I think there's an imperative that once you start identifying others as the source of death, whether it's Haitians who are claimed to be eating cats and dogs, or the Baha'i who are this, or the Jews who are that, or the Iranians who are terrorists, once we give in to this kind of pathetic, cheap, simple, cruddy thinking, we become the playthings of politicians who want to use fear to expand agendas that are very destructive. So I want to echo what Frida was saying, is that either there is a global shift towards a culture of life, or as we're seeing, a global shift towards a culture of death. And I think that that's not an Iranian, American, Israeli, Arab question. I think that's a human question. And I think it deserves a global, we have to generate that evolutionary leap now, or pay the, or essentially expect future generations to pay the price of our folly for centuries. I mean, there already climate change is already here, but if we don't put a stop to this nonsense fast in Iran, in Israel, and in America, we'll end up with just worse and worse systems and cycles of governance.
Thanks so much to each of you for these insights. I've had people ask if I could bring up whether or not public sentiment in Iran has historically been perceived as anti-US and Israel. Is this a false impression? Do you think that the ill will is widespread? That you see in the US these people chanting death to America. Has that been overplayed in the US media? Has that been influenced by religious viewpoints? And have you seen that transform in your lifetime? Could any of you comment on that, sort of the feeling between countries?
I mean, I'll just say one thing quickly, that, okay, at the time of the 1979 revolution, yes, the public sentiment against the US was very high because, in a way, the way the Islamic Republic established itself was through identifying itself in opposition to the US and Israel, and promoting religious fundamentalism and patriarchy. But over the years, as people have experienced living under this authoritarian regime, they have turned against it. At this point, 80% of the Iranian public is against their government. And they actually became much more sympathetic or much more friendly toward ordinary people. I'm talking about that 80%. They became much more friendly toward the US and even in some cases Israel. So not saying we don't want war with Israel. So what is happening right now is with this war and with the destruction that U.S. and Israel are bringing about, and of course Iran itself is retaliating in horrible ways. I'm not excusing what Iran is doing. This is actually creating anti-U.S. sentiments again because people are suffering from the bombs.
All right, thank you. Any other comments on that one before I move on to the last question here? Okay.
I was a couple of years ago in Iran. I was trying to find the picture. So we were on the way to Caspian Sea. It was in the middle of the night, 10 o'clock at night. We stopped by at a restaurant. And for some reason, the restaurant owner realized that I don't live in Iran. So he brought a flag of the United States. He put it on my table and he said, "Ma'am, tell the people of America we love them."
Oh.
And he treated us for dessert. So that was the personal one. And I always show that picture to all my students because I think it's also a reflection of sentiments of people to people. There has not been an issue. Mm-hmm. Having said that, I don't know from now on, and with the war, the sentiment can change. And unfortunately, the government of Iran is very good at playing at narratives. Mm. So I would hope not, but I don't think that Iranian people were ever against American people.
Mm. Thank you, Lily.
And if I should find that picture during this presentation, I will show it to you.
All right, pop it right up if you find it. Thank you.
Sure.
But if I can just hop in, John.
Yes, go ahead, Amir.
I mean, just recently with the protests in Iran, a couple of things I just want to point to foul play, because the Iranian people are kind of stuck between politicians who are playing very deadly games. So this "Death to America, Death to Israel" slogan of the Islamic Republic has been used very effectively to stigmatize Iran and the Iranian people, and to justify bombings and attacks and so on. And then in the other way, we've also always had this great Satan, little Satan narrative about America and Israel that had all but collapsed before this war. In so many ways, Iranians were saying, "I don't want to give my life for Gaza or Lebanon. I wanted to give, my life is for Iran." And now with this really strangely war that's being conducted in such a strange way, what we are doing is rekindling the fundamentalist narrative, which is a disaster, I think. But it cuts in another way as well, in that President Trump tweeted on January 13th, telling the Iranian people, "Help is on its way. I'm with you. America's with you. We want your freedom. We want your liberty." People poured into the streets. So many had died. And then within a matter of a week, he was sort of speaking to the regime about a deal, better ballistic missile deal, better nuclear deal, as if the life of the Iranian people, as if they were sacrificial goats that politicians can, draw into the streets, slaughter, convert into political chips, and then use for their own benefit in whatever way they want. And then you had former CIA Director Mike Pompeo on January 3rd, again, when the protests were taking place, tweeting, "Happy New Year, to the mullahs and this and that," and then saying, "Oh, don't worry, the Iranian protesters, Mossad is walking with you," which was effectively giving the regime the very narrative it wanted, which was that, no, these Iranians are not genuine Iranians who have legitimate protests. They're foreign agents, Israeli agents, and they're coming into the streets. And look, the CIA, former CIA director, is saying that. So we have really dirty, dirty players who are willing to do whatever it takes to get whatever, a lot of them are in the pay of various different proxies and groups and so on. And these people are essentially thinking that they have a license to play with the life of the Iranian people, to play with their desire for freedom, for liberation, and so forth. So we can't just look at this as, a black and white thing. It's a very nuanced, very complex political series of games that are being played, often by proxy. And I'm not exempting the Iranian regime from this at all. They've been doing the exact same thing. But the Middle East has just become this sewer for proxy wars that are to the benefit of very, very powerful interests and at the expense, we've seen this now with the Arab Spring, with developments in Israel, with developments in Iran, a systematic weakening and disempowerment of democratic and civil movements in this region by people who are controlling the levers of power. People like Pompeo. And sadly, I have to say, even President Trump, the way, the impression that he's increasingly giving is that he's in it, Iran is just another casino, and the Iranian people are chips that can and will be used in whatever way benefits the short-term interests of a few politicians. And I find that unconscionable.
Thank you,
May,
everyone.
may I add one more point to what Amir just said right now? That in January, when both Reza Pahlavi, the son of the former king, and Trump uh, announced that if Iranian people come out into the streets, the US will come to their defense, apparently over 1 million people came out. And in the course of 2 or 3 days, anywhere from 7,000 to 30,000 were massacred. We know for a fact at least 7,000 confirmed, but definitely more than that. So that is an example of what he was saying about playing with people, playing with people's sentiments and using them. And on the question of what he said about the Middle East has become a sewer for proxy wars, the Iranian government was involved in supporting the Assad regime in Syria after the Syrian uprising. From 2011 to 2024, the Iranian government backed an authoritarian butcher regime that apparently has killed 500,000 people. So that is what we're talking about. We need to end that cycle. And this war launched by Israel and Israel and US on Iran, it will only heighten that cycle. It will not end it.
Thank you. All right, it's time to move to questions from the audience, but I had one last question. If you could comment, at least briefly, a lot of people hear about trade embargoes, they hear about the nuclear program. Do you have any perspective on how these issues affect people in Iran and how they might affect people in the US and other parts of the world? Can you comment on that? And then would be very happy to have Kim and Mark give us the questions from the audience.
And I found the picture.
Okay, show us your picture and then I'm so glad you found it, Lily.
If
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
so, and that's the dessert he treated us.
Oh, look at that. Such a great story. Thank you. Okay, any comments on embargoes and nuclear programs and how they affect people in Iran and in other places?
Well, I mean, if I can, I had the pleasure of working with Mr. Khosrow Semnani on a paper on the nuclear issue. And one thing that's absolutely clear, which is a dear friend, scholar at Carnegie, Karim Sajjadpour, has said, was that Iran's nuclear program at some level was an opportunity for uh, hundreds of billions of dollars of lost wealth. It became the excuse for imposing sanctions on Iran. And the sanctions, in turn, became an excuse for smuggling hundreds of billions of dollars of Iranian oil through the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, and other illicit networks to China. So the nuclear program itself became a way, and the sanctions regime became a way for the IRGC to consolidate and deepen its control over the Iranian state
Mm.
and to aggravate the crises between Iran and Israel. It also became a way for countries that wanted a permanent wedge between Iran and America to make it very, very hard for a reconciliation of any kind to happen, including Russia and China, both of which have used Iran as a battering ram for sort of shattering Pax Americana in the Middle East. So and then in terms of just electricity, the nuclear program's been a joke. It hasn't generated anything. So, and in terms of weaponization and all of that, look at the war that it has subjected Iran to. So if ever there was a word for blight of any kind, it is in fact Iran's nuclear program. It has done nothing but bring suffering, pain, misery, poverty, corruption to Iran. And the sooner the damn thing is put behind us, the better, because Iran can move towards peace, prosperity, and stability. The problem is that the interests that have been formed around and under the banner of the nuclear program are $100 billion cartel interests that make the drug cartels of Latin America pale in comparison.
Mm.
So that's the challenge that the Iranian people, really the international community, faces. And it's not a challenge that you can just bomb your way out of,
Mhm.
destroy and damage the Iranian people even more, and say, aha, we won. That's a very cheap route to take.
Mm.
If the future peace and prosperity of Iran and the Middle East is truly a matter of genuine concern.
Mm. Thank you. Kim and Mark or Derek, any of you who are scanning the chat, would you give us the first question from the audience, please?
I just put one right into the chat. Does that work?
Do you mind reading it aloud? That would be
Not at
so
all.
helpful. Thank you.
Sure. So this is question one from the audience. An Iranian friend told me about the strong connection between Iranian culture and poetry, especially from, and I will not pronounce this correctly, Havez is the last name it looks like. Do the panelists have any favorite poems or lines from it that they would like to share?
Thanks, Kim.
Sure.
So it's a tradition of us who are, especially on the night of winter solstice, all of us would open the book of Hafiz. We say a prayer for his soul, and then we think of something that we wanted, whether or not it would happen. I have a job interview, whether it will go fine. I like this boy, whether, he likes me too. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, for the same fall solstice, I opened the book, and my question to Hafiz was that whether Islamic Republic will go. And he said, don't, I mean, I thought that they will go that year. And he said, don't put your hope up. So you interpret from Hafiz what would be the, your answer. It would, you and somebody else may get the same poem, but your interpretation will be different. I think I love a lot of poems from Hafiz. I mean, right now, and again, I told you that it is Ramadan, so one of the poems that just comes to my mind is that در خرابات مغان نور خدا میبینم ای عجب چه نوری ز کجا میبینم. So I saw the the light of God, even um, in the dark places of, let's say, a winery, which is, that alcohol is not permitted in Islam. So I see the light of God everywhere. So that's something that came to my mind just as we were speaking.
Oh, lovely.
Mine is from Sadi, a poet from was born in the late 1100s, died in the later 1200s. And I'll just tell you the translation, that humans are all part of the same body, made of the same essence. And if one member is in pain, others shall not rest easy.
Beautiful. All right. What's our next question, Kim?
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. Question number 2 from the audience, a historical question. How did U.S. policy vis-a-vis Iran in the late 1970s affect the outcome of the 1978-79 revolution and the establishment of the Islamic Republic as opposed to a secular democratic republic to replace the monarchy? In particular, is it possible that President Jimmy Carter's support for the Shah's regime until the very end of his reign may have strengthened the fundamentalist and authoritarian tendencies in the revolution at the expense of more secular and democratic tendencies?
That's Amir's department.
Okay, Amir.
Well, unfortunately, that's a very complex question. And I think that whatever I answer will be inadequate really to the question. I think that there were a whole series of mistakes made in terms of American foreign policy with regard to Iran. And I don't think that by the time Carter essentially ended up, Khomeini was able to present himself as a unifying figure and as the umbrella figure for all the opposition in Iran, the opposition to the Shah. And I remember my father saying that anyone who would have taken a minute to read what Khomeini had written in terms of the establishment of an Islamic State would know of the darkness that was coming. But in fact, he was sort of celebrated as the religious imagery that was used was one that cast the Shah as the Manichaean business again, that the Shah was pure evil and Khomeini was divine light. And that took hold and spread like wildfire. And the Americans essentially facilitated. There was deep splits within the Carter administration in terms of how to handle the revolution, how to handle the popular uprising, with Brzezinski supporting a crackdown and others not. And then, at any rate, eventually when Khomeini came to Iran, the US's primary concern was to protect the Iranian army. So the army declared its neutrality, which in turn enabled Khomeini to consolidate power. And then within a matter of months, there was one attempt at a hostage crisis, which failed, and then a second attempt, which was successful. And that hostage crisis was, the anti-American sort of sheen of that. It was originally the initial first run at a hostage crisis was by sort of a group of leftist Marxist students, which was immediately stopped. But then the second hostage crisis Khomeini used essentially to purge the reformists and used the hostage crisis as a way of consolidating fundamentalist control over Iran and purging most of his opponents. So really, Iran was a country that had been sort of struggling for a constitutional framework for law, whether within the framework of monarchy or outside it, suddenly found itself plunged into a kind of really monstrous medieval system of religious rule, which Khomeini called Velayat Faqih. And for the past 45, 47 years, we've been trying to break out of that cage. So, I mean, the kinds of mistakes American policymakers make are so catastrophic, and have such long-term consequences. And really, um, when you look at America in the 40s, which was 1940s, which was this country that literally was the pulled Japan and Germany out of the ashes of the Second World War, rebuilt Europe. I mean, there are really incredible things that American statesmen did at the in the 1940s. And then you look at America post the Soviet collapse of the Soviet Union with this sort of mediocre political class that seemed to have no real depth, no real historical experience, no cultural understanding, nothing other than resort to force. I mean, it's just, you see this degradation of, I mean, it's hard to even find language for it because we gamble with the life of millions of people and with foreign policy types whose whose in terms of conscience, in terms of character, in terms of wisdom, in terms of coordination, really are just pathetic. I mean, to think that we defeated the Taliban in Afghanistan 20 years ago, or in Iraq, Saddam in such a short period, and then managed to lose really the entire future of these countries, while vast literally $1 trillion wars that got siphoned into very, very corrupt um, beltway bandit kind of things, right? Everything that is essentially paved the way for Trump coming to power was based on a criticism of all of this. And now, once again, we're seeing, the fate and future of the Iranian people played with like some sort of poker game. So I'm just sort of saying all of this because I just feel that the American people have failed in a massive way to hold their government up to the highest standards that reflect our deepest values. That failure in terms, whether it's in terms of corruption and so on, is manifest in Congress. It's manifest in the corruption of our political parties. It's reflected in these disastrous wars, and it's paid for with the blood of America's children.
Thank you, Amir. Lily and Frida, would you like to add to that, or should we take the next question?
Just, I want to emphasize what Amir just said. The American people have failed to hold their government up to the values that they claim to have. And that's really, it's the responsibility of librarians to hold up those values instead of cave into the violation of our values and civil rights and human rights.
Thank you. Those have both been wonderful questions, and our panelists have given such beautiful replies. What's the next question for us, Kim?
Yes, thank you for tackling that. Question 3 from the audience. Do you have a favorite Iranian observance or holiday that you can share with us?
Favorite holiday? Yes, the Nowruz, which is the New Year, and it's March 20th or 21st, and it's the celebration of new life this beginning of spring. We celebrate with, having a table with various items like grass that we've grown on a plate, with lentil seeds or others, and various goodies and flowers, and it's supposed to be a time when people buy new clothes for their children, and go to each other's homes and visit, and celebrate this beginning of spring together.
Mm.
Yeah, and each of those items have a meaning. They all start with letter S in Persian, and they all would be a symbol of wisdom, patience, love, prosperity, rebirth. And for anybody who's in California, I think the time of the new year when the earth finishes its turn around the sun and the moment the new turn starts will be 7:46:20. We are very precise. So 46 minutes and 20 seconds after 7 a.m. would be on March 20th, would be the start of the new year. I agree with Fridajan. I think my favorite holiday is also Nowruz.
Any favorite from you, Amir?
Oh,
Thank you, Frida.
I mean, yes, I would say Nowruz as well.
Okay. What's our next question, Kim? Thanks for your help.
Absolutely. So question number 4 from the audience. American media gave me the impression that Iranians wanted to see Pahlavi lead their country. I would love to hear any insight on why they would want that when his father was so unpopular. Are these younger people who don't know what happened under the Shah's rule, or was that just American propaganda?
Interesting.
I mean, I would say that, okay, some Iranians do want the return of the son of the former king. They think that because the economic situation in Iran was better before the 1979 revolution, that bringing back the son of the king will solve that problem and will create a great economy. But I certainly believe that that is self-deception, and that is a denial of reality, that the Pahlavi monarchy was a very authoritarian government. I lived under it, and we had the secret police. Even as a child or youngster, I knew that I could not say anything in public, that my family could get arrested if I said anything critical of the Shah or his government, and that they had a lot of political prisoners, and we had repression. So I would not say that is an alternative, especially after 47 years of the Islamic Republic and the authoritarianism that it has given us. We need a democratic alternative. So yes, while I admit that part of the Iranian population wants to go back to the monarchy, that is not the entirety of the population. And I think that is up to those who have an understanding of history and know what the previous regime was like to speak out and to inform people about that reality, and not allow Iranians to just repeat the earlier mistakes.
Thanks so much. Anything else to add on that one, or shall we take the next? Okay, what's our next one, Kim?
Hi there. Sorry. So the next one was posed in the chat and then also in the Q&A. And so I think Amir might have somewhat responded. But it says, I understand the Tudeh and Pekar parties were eliminated, even though Tudeh actually supported Khomeini. Is there any revolutionary party now?
I mean, I think that the whole idea of revolution has just become absolutely exhausting and unbearable to the Iranian people. I'm not aware of revolutionary parties in Iran right now. The Tudeh was badly eliminated. I'm pretty sure that they are still operational. I think I think the Tudeh, when the revolution happened, the Soviet view was that America had lost a major sort of major position in the Middle East. And consequently, the Tudeh party was instructed and did support the revolution. Then what followed was all kinds of purges. Uh, Monarchists were killed, nationalists, liberals, reformists were killed. And the Tudeh stayed in the game with the regime. I think, if I'm not mistaken, for like the first 3 years. And then it was they who were purged. So, and historically, the Tudeh had quite a bit of influence in the army. It wasn't just a sort of, their influence wasn't just a kind of working class influence. Their influence in the Iranian military was deep, and that was a source of concern. So Khomeini held them close and then dispensed with them as he had with others. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember reading something that that the list of Tudeh operatives in Iran may have been given to them by American or British intelligence. I can't remember. I can't remember which one. But what's, I mean, sadly, one of the aspects of Iranian politics that's very difficult is that even going back to the early 20th century, the British wanted to control Iran's foreign policy. They very much wanted Iran to be a protectorate and that Iran's foreign policy would be controlled by them. And then when you fast forward, even during the nuclear negotiations, Javad Zarif, one of the Islamic Republic's foreign ministers, was essentially saying that that in fact the reason Iran was involved in Syria and had ground troops there was because that's what the Russians wanted, and that the Russians, together with the IRGC, were imposing that foreign policy on Iran. So the reason I bring this up is that one of the challenges that we've had as a country that wants to determine its own future is that throughout this century, but even now, even with the Islamic Republic, you see this tendency to use what would otherwise be deemed independent forces in Iran, including the IRGC, as a proxy for advancing Russian interest in the Middle East, or as a proxy for advancing China's economic interests in the Middle East. And one of the effects of this sort of severe manipulation of Iranian domestic politics has been that it in turn makes it very hard for the Iranian people to fully trust anyone who claims to represent them, because we've had to deal with a century of misrepresentation.
Thank you. I see that we're almost out of time, and I want to thank everyone who's attended and thank you for your questions. So grateful to everyone on our panel. I would like to give our panelists the last word since they've so kindly answered our questions. If there's anything that hasn't come up that you would like to say, here's your opportunity to take just a brief minute to say anything that has not been brought up that you would like to add. Anyone on the panel?
Just to thank God for American civil society, right? Thank God for the world of books. Thank God for our ability to connect with each other, and let's be very, 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 very aware of how these wars can spin out of control, and how many American lives, how much American treasure they can claim. And then let's not pretend that our bombs are just falling down on geopolitical targets. Let's make sure that we press our representatives in Congress to really live up to what it means to be American. I think that's really important. And then deep thanks to Dr. Parkinson, who thinks these things through with so much grace and depth. And thanks to you all for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much to our panel. Lily and Frida, would you like to say anything here at the end?
I would just want to say that, first of all, thank you very much for coming here, for listening to us. Thank you, Polly, for organizing this. And I would say that war is almost an easy answer to ending diplomacy. We still have to work. We still have to come together. Killing people. War has never brought democracy anywhere, and it would not bring it to Iran. We should be aware of that. And I also want to say that as somebody who has two sisters right now under bombs in Iran, who is worried sick about not just their safety, the safety of everybody, but I'm always also on the helpful side. I think we will rebuild the country again. And I think it will be hard time. I'm sure hard time will be ahead of us. It will be not easy, but I'm still on the hopeful side that we will rebuild this country one way or other. Iran has lasted all these thousands of years. It will stay.
Thank you, Lily. Frida?
Thank you so much.
And I would like to thank Polly and all the panelists and behind the scenes organizers as well. And yes, I think that the future of Iranians, people of the Middle East in general, including Palestinians, Syrians, Turks, Iraqis, Afghans, they're intertwined with the lives of Americans. And even if people in the US don't recognize that, I think it is up to librarians. This is the panel of 4 librarians. It's up to librarians to raise these issues in ways that they can, to make people aware of this connection that, our future and their future cannot be separated from each other. So as long as there's war and intervention there and violations of human rights, we're going to have ramifications in this country.
Beautifully said, each one of you. I can't thank you enough. Thanks to everyone who's helped with this, everyone who's attended, and we'll sign off for today.
And happy Persian New Year to you all.
A very happy New Year.
Thank you.
Watch your clocks for the exact moment.
Yes. Thank you.
Start your lentil seed growing now into grass, right?
Bye-bye. Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
چیزم ادیتای